Welcome to Sib Spot. Today's featured Reddit stories are from EntitledParents. Story 1 is by Reptile Mom OWO. My mom threw away all my chokers because, quote, wearing a choker is screaming that you like to sleep around. So, context. My parents are both extremely Christian and both work for the church. I myself am Christian, but I dress goth because I enjoy spooky things and it makes me happy. Sadly, my mother doesn't agree but let it slide since I am 21. I am an adult, but I still live with my parents due to my disability and being in college at the same time. She was chill with the goth thing, till yesterday, when I was looking for my chokers because I was going on a girls' day shopping trip with my friend. I couldn't find my chokers and asked my mom if she knew where they went, since I always keep them in my room, which she never goes into due to my bearded dragon and other reptiles being gross to her. That is when she told me she threw them away, quote, because wearing a choker is just screaming that you like to sleep around and have your legs open for business from any guy, end quote. Note that I am in a committed relationship with my boyfriend of 2 years now and have no interest in hooking up with random guys or anyone who isn't my boyfriend. This is where I yelled at her back and forth for a few minutes before going with my friend and ranting to my bestie about it. My bestie got me 2 new chokers, thankfully, and will keep them at their place so my mom can't get a hold of any more chokers. I'm still fuming mad about this. So much for my collection of 16 different chokers. Guess I'm gonna have to try to start again and move out as soon as I can after college to escape her, taking all of my pets with me, of course. I have been ranting to my bearded dragon while writing this as well. I had 2 chokers that I really liked. One was like a stretchy plastic material. You'd have to put it over your head and put it on. And I had this other one that looked like a Victorian style choker. I thought it was beautiful and I would wear it all the time. It does not mean what this Christian mother thinks it means. Most religious people are fine, but there are some out there who you can't convince otherwise when they're wrong about something. Our next story is by Neon5431. Entitled Parent tries to take my DoorDash order. Brief intro. I work for DoorDash, not being able to pay bills, and it's been my only source of income. A normal day going around taking orders when I arrive at a typical McDonald's. I walk up and tell the cashier DoorDash and the person's name, and they tell me they just gave it to the woman that just walked out. Great timing, right? I end up confronting this entitled mother, and she tries to play it off and then shoves me to the side. Yes, unethical, but I end up snatching the order and slapping her other hand away, keep in mind not too hard, from me, and she starts screaming louder than a baby on a plane. People start to crowd us, and she starts spouting about how I stole her DoorDash order. Her entitled child comes over and proceeds to start calling the police. Looked around 16 years old, and once they come, the entitled mother starts complaining and moaning about how I stole her DoorDash order. By this point, I've had to cancel the order, and it was a whole other process from there. But I ended up showing them the order and where she shoved me. And yes, there were cameras, surprisingly, and so she was quickly taken care of. Yes, I know, terrible ending, but you get the idea. However, I ended up learning that this wasn't the first time she'd done this, and I was asked if I wanted to press charges. Needless to say, part 2 is coming out soon. People were questioning how she can get away with this. There's a lot of businesses out there that have DoorDash that go by the trust method. They put things on a shelf, they might have the name tag on the bag. People in a store can stand there and listen to the employee say, "Are you here to pick up for Amber?" And they hear the name Amber. And the guy's like, "No, I'm here to pick up for Chris." And then the person will walk up afterwards and say, "I'm here for Amber." And they basically steal the food. This is why it's always good for them to make sure they check the order number and see the order on their electronic device. The trust method does not work because people can't be trusted. Down in the comments by Diva So Rude. The store had to check your phone before they hand the order over. Why didn't they just remake the order? And why did they give it to her? She said it was her DoorDash order, but she clearly doesn't work for DoorDash. The situation I mentioned just before this is where this sort of thing can happen. Underneath that by Practical Junket 520. Mostly the store just left it at a section for any rider to come pick up. That's what I saw. Left it there unattended and someone will pick it up on their own. Never check it. It does make me question, anyone can just come and take it. There's a Japanese restaurant in this town that I go to on occasion, and they take their food and put it on this big plastic shelf. And people can just walk in, and if they see the name, they can say, hey, I'm here to pick up that, or they can just take it. You can't trust people. You have to check order numbers. Our next story is by Demon Frage. A lady wanted me to put ice in my drink. I answered with stupid. I was chilling at a cafe in Rio yesterday, and I decided to go fill up my drink. So as I was standing in line to fill up my drink, this lady and her maybe 6-year-old kid were also in line. Right ahead of me, in fact. So the kid was about to get his drink when his mom stopped him and told him to put ice in his drink first, because everyone gets ice in their drink. So he moved out of the way, and I went ahead to get my drink instead. I'm halfway through filling up my drink when this lady puts her hand in front of my face and directs my eyes towards her, and she's pointing at the ice machine. Everyone puts ice in their drink, she told me as she was pointing at it, and apparently I was tired as heck because I looked her dead in the eye, and without cracking any smile or emotion whatsoever, I told her, "Oh, my bad, I'm allergic to ice." She had this shocked and confused expression. Then she and her kid just went on their merry ways. I filled up my drink and sat back down, and after looking at my phone for a few minutes, I look up to see her real angry, arguing with a random worker, pointing at me. Honestly, I decided it wasn't even worth it, and seeing as I was finished eating, I just threw my stuff away and bounced. I woke up this morning thinking, what the heck even was that? You got in this lady's way is what it is. She's trying to teach her 6-year-old to get ice in the cup first and then come and get the drink. But since he moved out of your way, you went to fill up your drink. Some people would see that as rude. I don't. But honestly, that's a great statement. I'm allergic to ice. How can she go to the manager and complain after that and try to get you in trouble? Again, it makes me think we're missing some part of the story here. If they were going to complain to some employee, you must have said something else. Our next story is by Last Cranberry 1662. My sister attacked my wife, and my mom is holding our financial documents hostage because of it. Hi Reddit. This post is half to vent but also half to check myself and make sure I'm not going crazy. My wife and I are recently married but have been together since December of 2019. Ever since then, we have had nothing but problems with my family, particularly my mom and my one sister, as well as occasionally my brother, sister-in-law, and dad. My wife and I have talked multiple times in the past few years about whether we feel like it's gotten to the point of us needing to go no contact, but haven't pulled that trigger quite yet. This past weekend, however, and the aftermath are having us seriously consider it. I guess I just need some advice. The background/lead up. My wife and I are asked to help with a home project, painting, for my brother and sister-in-law's new house. The only supplies that were brought for this said project was one single paint sprayer and one single roll of painting tape, even though we had 7 to 9 people at various points who were there to help. More tape was later purchased. My wife, my mom, my sister-in-law, and I started taping up the parts that needed covered, and my brother started painting behind us. There wasn't a whole lot to tape, so once we finished, there wasn't anything to do other than sit around and wait. Eventually, my sister starts painting, and my wife and I decide around 7 p.m. that it would probably be smart to try to order food for everyone. I'm not sure what they mean by year in this sentence. Maybe somebody can inform me. My wife is with one group on one side of the year talking about food orders, and I'm on the other side with my mom and sister. My wife heard them yelling and was concerned, especially due to previous history that something was happening, so she came over and asked what was going on. Here is the play-by-play of the conversation. Sister, hands me paint sprayer. Your turn. Me, oh, okay, I thought I was supposed to go get food. Sister, too bad. Mom, I did ask you to help paint. Well, I did help tape. Mom, well, I didn't ask you to help tape. I asked you to help paint, didn't I? Me, I suppose. Wife, what are you guys yelling about? Mom, oh, we were just giving him crap. Wife, oh, okay, it just sounded like yelling. Sister, he can talk to his family without you. It's none of your effing business. Wife, huh? Sister, you have no right to be an effing C-word to my mom. It's none of your business, and he can talk to his family without you around. Wife, I was just asking a question about my husband. Is there a problem with that? Sister, you don't get to talk to my mom like that, you B-word. Wife, again, I was asking a simple question about my husband. Sister takes a couple steps towards wife. Wife walks towards sister. Sister is literally centimeters from wife's face, and wife places her hand on sister's chest and tells her to back off, and then sister started swinging. Basically, my sister started swinging on my wife, and my wife put her hands up to block her face and accidentally hit my sister in the face. After this, I pulled my sister back and my wife stepped back. My sister was yelling things like, "She effing hit me! Call the effing cops!" etc. After my sister eventually seemed to calm down, I let her go and she lunged at my wife again, and this time got a hit in. I pulled her back again, and then my brother and sister-in-law walk up and start yelling at my wife. Sister-in-law says that my wife is making them look like trash to their new neighbors, and my brother tells us to get the F off his property. My mom started yelling at my wife, telling her that she was being a B-word, and she had no right to come at her, my mom, like that, even though my wife hadn't even moved yet from the spot where she was standing. Fast forward. Over the past few days, we have gotten many text messages and phone calls. The gist of those is basically continuing to blame my wife and telling me that I'm a terrible brother, son, and uncle to sister's kids who were also present for this entire scenario. Additionally, we need some old tax forms from some financial paperwork we needed to fill out, and while my wife's parents sent those to us as soon as they were able, my parents are holding them hostage and flat out refusing to give them to us. I was told that I would have to drive an hour to their house to retrieve them and have a conversation with my mom, and that my wife was not welcome to the conversation. Additionally, that my wife is no longer welcome in their house. When we called and asked if my mom could please just email them to us, we needed them, her exact response was, "Maybe." Withholding our financial documents feels like it should be a last straw for me, but it's really hard and I want to make the right choice. Pretty sure you could contact wherever these financial documents came from, I'm assuming like the IRS or something, to do taxes. You can probably get copies of them remade. You don't have to go through her. And it sounds like you guys might have to go no contact if they're trying to alienate your wife like this. I would suggest it. It doesn't sound healthy to me. Our stories for today have come to a close. Until we meet again, have a cordial day.